In this episode of How to Play Reality's Edge, we're going to look at the Overwatch Action. When a model is first activated, it can spend 2 activation points to go into the state of Overwatch. We recommend using a counter to indicate that the model is in Overwatch, just so that you and your opponent have a good sense of the board state while you're playing, and you don't want to surprise your opponent. The model on Overwatch can perform a 1 activation point action at any point during an opposing model's action, even in the middle of it shooting, even in the middle of it moving. Once the model on Overwatch completes that 1 action, the opposing model may continue its actions. However, a model on Overwatch does not get the 360-degree arc view. It is limited to a 180-degree forward arc view. Now, a model on Overwatch may not interrupt another model on Overwatch. This is to prevent the kind of Overwatch chain reactions you see in games of Infinity. Now, the rulebook states that this might be unfair, but it does simplify things to prevent a complexity of interlocking actions. Now, a model can remain on Overwatch from turn to turn in a game. They must still roll activation tests to determine how many activation points they receive and whether initiative passes to another player in case of a failed roll. Now, if a model on Overwatch performs any other action than interrupting an opponent, it immediately loses the Overwatch status. Now, let's give an example here. Let's say this model is on Overwatch. It's got its 2 activation points, it's spent it, now it's gone to Overwatch state. This model activates and gets 2 activation points. It moves around here. Now let's say it has a move of 5 inches. As soon as it came around the corner, it hasn't completed its 5-inch move, this model can still shoot it. Now let's reset and cover this. Let's say this activates. Our ganger rolls a critical and gets 3 activation points. It can make a move around, then decide it's going to charge. It can charge, get base to base, but before it attacks, this model can spend its 1 activation point to execute a close range attack. Now, if it succeeds in the attack and executes enough wounds on the ganger, enough to kill it, it can avoid being attacked by that ganger. But remember, you only get 180 degrees. So going into Overwatch in this direction might have been a mistake, as the enemy model can come around and then shoot her in the back or execute a charge on the second move. So a better situation might have been to go into Overwatch with her back to cover and then execute a shot against there. So Overwatch is not that confusing. Just remember, at any point scream, "I'm going to go into Overwatch and attack you." That's fine. The model doesn't have to complete its full move. It doesn't have to complete its charge. You can execute your 1 activation point act at any point. Alright, well, that's it for Overwatch. Join us in our next video as we discuss morale.